Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger, Better, Bolder, the Mindset for Success. And today I want to talk to you about why you might hear me often saying success is a long game. It's one of those kind of phrases that I throw out on these videos. Sometimes I throw it out in all the talks I do. And I thought I'd explain to you what I really mean by success being a long game. And to do that, I want to share with you a really simple model, which is what I call the success curve. Now, there is no science behind the curve I'm going to show you. What there is, however, is lifetime experience and obvious logic. You'll know what I'm saying is true when I share it with you. So here we go. I want you to imagine there's an invisible scale right here, okay? And secretly, when we embark upon maybe a new business or a new venture or an idea, when we set our goals, when we set our ambitions, secretly, our unconscious mind kind of thinks or at least hopes that success curve is going to look like that. In other words, I want you to imagine that this is success and this is time, and we kind of hope and we kind of expect and we kind of wish, I think is probably the word, that it kind of looks like this. It's the idea where you set a new business up and you say, this time next year we're going to be millionaires and we're going to make £10 million or £100,000, whatever it is, okay? But we tend to really expect what we can deliver in 1 year. Now, if we're really honest with ourselves and we're being really smart, of course, we know that realistically our success curve isn't going to look like this. Actually, when we think about it logically, it probably stands to reason that maybe our success curve would look something like this. We start here and it goes like this. However, I'm going to show you that that's not true either. I've met no one that has ever had linear progression of their success. I'm not talking about over 1 week or 1 month. I'm talking about over years, okay? And maybe even over a lifetime of achievement. The success curve actually goes like this, okay? And there's a saying out there that's used by an awful lot of motivational speakers and everything else, so there's a lot of truth in this, which is most people massively over expect what they can achieve in 1 year, but hugely underestimate what they can achieve over 5, okay? So this is why we have to play the long game. This is why success is a long game. Quite often, actually, the success that we achieve in 1 year isn't what we hoped, what we wished, or even what we want, and therefore it's very easy to start limiting our expectations of what we could achieve, and instead of this curve taking its natural success curve to completion, actually what ends up happening is we end up plateauing off. And maybe if we lose heart altogether, actually not only do we plateau off, we can actually crash and burn. So I want you to think about even really successful people. They've gone through this curve. Even when you think about people like Richard Branson and Virgin, for example, whilst he had meteoric success, and if you looked and zoomed into his curve, you might see elements of this, this kind of like really huge growth over short periods of time. We all know about his Mike Oldfield story and everything else, okay? So there's elements of this. But when you look at the bigger picture over the course of his life so far, it's still doing this. He's way more successful in the second half of his career than he was in the first half. And he's way more successful in the last quarter than he was in the third quarter. Does this make sense? So within this curve, you're going to have the lumps and the bumps. You might have some weeks or months, and if you have a scale over long enough, over a lifetime, 30, 40, 50 years, you may even have years where you are performing or you're succeeding less than you have in previous years. But over the course of your life, if you stay in the game long enough, if you keep bringing yourself to your own life and to your own success, this is what the curve's going to look like. So that leads me to another phrase that I use, which is every day you don't do what you need to do in order to have the life that you want at the end is another day that you don't get to have it. In other words, every day you don't start to do what you need to do to achieve this up here is one more day you don't get to live this. So let's imagine this is our life, this is our career, this is our business success over the next 5, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 or 30 years. And this up here is going to be so exciting, it's so exhilarating, it's going to be a massive, huge, successful life. Every day we don't start doing what we need to do is a day that we don't get to live this. And if this screen, if you like, was our lifespan, and this is the next kind of 20 years or something, every day you don't start, it gets pushed off, it gets pushed off. And this goal here gets pushed off, and we do start to run out of time. So that curve now looks like this. So we're running out of time, And you know what? Most people run out of time. They've run out of time to create the success that I believe they really could create out of life. It's not about this week, this month. It's not even about this year. Your success is about the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20, 30, 40, however many years you've got left. That's what is going to determine the degree of success you're going to have out of life. Now, fulfillment and achievement aren't necessarily the same thing. We can have huge achievement and be really miserable on the way. But that's a story for another day. Today I just want to talk to you about the success curve. I am all about enjoying now. Whether now is really high on the curve or now is really low on the curve, it's about having the experience of life that we want in the present whilst working to the goals and the ambitions that we set ourselves over the long term. So success is a long game, and I want you to play the long game. And until next time, be successful.